Welcome to Fuel, a NAVSEA podcast for propelling your leadership journey. I'm Joe Mahalik, the Propel Leadership Development Program Manager. Propel strives to develop leaders who write, speak, and behave consistently with a heart of service. Each month, Fuel gives you up-close and personal access to NAVSEA thought leaders who have been there, done that, and are ready to tell their stories, ready to invest in you. So whether you're interested in learning what leading's all about or you've been a leader for years, we're all on an ongoing professional journey which requires fuel.
Hello and welcome to the Fuel Podcast. I have the pleasure of being here with Miss Diane Costlow, the Technical Director of NSWC Corona.
Yes.
Thanks for being here, Diane.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I'm very excited about this.
All right. If I had the chance to sit down with you in a nice, relaxed office, having a cup of chai tea, and I said, Miss Costlow, you know, I see all these leaders and I see them walking down the hall and I just get out of their way because they're big leaders. I'm intimidated by that. I don't know, would I be a good leader? I don't even know what leadership is about, but it seems like it's a natural progression and that I'm supposed to do that. Am I supposed to do that? And what should I be thinking about?
So first comment on that is, I think everybody is a leader, right? So they might be thinking about leadership positions, but the first thing I tell somebody is, hey, there's leadership in every one of our employees and our positions, because there's a time when we need to step up and provide our inputs, technical, leadership, business, whatever it is, right? And being confident with that, to me, that's a part of leadership, being that proactive. So that's the first thing I talk about. Then I usually say, let's just talk about what makes you happy. What are the things you do at work that you get jazzed about, right? So if it's when you're working with a team and you're mentoring others, or you're coordinating schedules or doing POAMs or project management, those type of skill sets many times, not all the time, right? But they are precursors to supervisory and leadership type jobs, right? Because in our supervisory and leadership positions, there's a piece of management too. Leadership,
it's a Venn diagram.
It's a Venn, right? They have to be in harmony with each other, because at least in the Navy Working Capital Fund, right? We at all levels, we have cost schedule performance, we have customers, we get in our tasking, we negotiate that tasking, we have to deliver product, right? And deliver results, but to do that, it's done by our people, right? So you have that management piece, cost schedule performance, but to get that done, that's when that leadership really comes into play. So, because honestly, it's the first level folks that are doing the work. They're the real workers here. The rest of it are helping them do their job.
It's all about enabling them to do the job.
It's all about enabling, whether you're a first, second, third level supervisor, or in the business codes or whatever. It's enabling those that are actually delivering our direct labor hours. And so when I kind of interview or just listen to them and ask them questions, what makes you happy? Then after a time of listening, then I play that back, and then as I play that back, then I will provide those correlations into leadership, or not. I will also add, though, once in a while, leadership, we have to roll up our sleeves and we have to dig in, right? It's an emergent situation, right? It's all hands on deck. Yeah. And I think as a leader, it can't be, hey, we're going home, it's 4:00 while everybody else stays till midnight. There's times when we need to get in the trenches, and that's where that technical credibility, I think, also and trust gets built too. Is when the workforce, they know, hey, you know what? They're not afraid to get dirty, and and I'll go to war with that person.
Yeah. What's evident to me from our conversation is that you're coming from a core set of values. And most organizations have written values that then drive their principles, and that's supposed to set the expected behavior. What are the values could you name those values?
Oh my gosh, yes. Trust, transparency, and teamwork, the 3 T's. It's something that we actually started writing down probably about 6 years ago. But honestly, when I look back, even farther back than that, and our mission of the organization and how we've developed it, that trust, transparency, and teamwork is really not only our values, but how we really expect our culture to be, how we make our decisions. It's really that foundation of everything that we do. So I'm really proud of the culture that we've set here at Corona. And it's interesting when we've had different auditors that come in, and you do the upfront brief, and I'll tell them what our values are, and that I'm really excited to hear what they have to say to make us a better organization, and I'll tell them that, our values are trust, transparency, and teamwork. And then in the outbrief, they come and they go, oh my gosh, you live that value system. We see that as a part of our audit. So it's interesting how it's kind of like getting a measurable result every once in a while when a sponsor or an auditor or a customer comes in, and then they tell me that they see the organization that we aspire to be.
So as you talked, a couple things hit my brain about it. What fired first was at least 2, maybe all 3 of those roll up to credibility, which is consistency of character.
Yes.
Doing what you say you will do, which ties very much into trust, and all the things that we teach in our courses about how to be a good leader is all based on that. What didn't surprise me, but I was wondering about from the input of the folks that you were around, how much of it was about technical prowess, how much of it was about knowledge of the industry. And I didn't hear that.
It wasn't that internally sound. I mean, so there was kind of that underlying foundation of credibility in that technical area, but that was not at all, did not rise to the top. Now, if it wasn't there, or if it was detrimental, I'm thinking that's probably not a good thing, because I think you need to be technically sound, right?
Absolutely.
You don't need to be the expert, but you have to be able to understand what folks are telling you, because back to that credibility, right? They're not going to trust you if you don't have that credibility.
So there's so much that I'm hearing you say that is about us speaking into the lives, not just the career path, but the very lives of the people that we're leading. And that reward is that you had a positive impact on that.
Yes.
So it's so much more than, you can take this technical path and you can get to this level of expertise, but who you become. Yeah,
definitely. And I've had people ask me, and I'm interpreting, right? But
sure.
What boxes do I need to check to get to that next level? And I try to explain to them there is no one path, right? Because every decision we make, every choice we make, every next position we take, personal or professional, is influencing what happens. And so every journey is unique.
As I speak with a lot of different leaders, one of the things that seems to come up time and time again is communication.
Believe it or not, communication and strategic thinking, kind of the two align. So executive communication, executive presence, we can get better at that apparently. What's your thought?
I think they go hand in hand. And just at Infosys just a few weeks ago, right, we had a leadership gentleman come in from North Carolina University. And one of the things he was talking about in the kind of a 3-circle Venn diagram, one was very strategic, the time you spend is strategic. Then there was a Venn of being a doer. But the one that resonated with me is being a translator. I think when we talk about
that hits for me.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
When we talk about communications and strategic thinking, leadership's job is to translate that, right? For what I hear from the CNO or for SecNav, or even in the National Defense Strategy, all the way down through NAVSEA and through Warfare Center leadership, I need to be translating those messages down to my leadership team, and then they in turn, right, making that personal down to their divisions and the branch heads down to the branches. Because when you try to take something at this high level, straight down, even though they need to know it directly too, but they need to have the translation. So why is this important to me? And what does this mean to me and my task? And so I think that is a huge part of leadership, is being that translator, right? It's not about just, forwarding emails, all hands. It's not transfer, it's translate.
Love it.
Now, and so, and I think that's something that we all, and I'll just say, even, myself, I have to continue to work on that, to make sure that just because it's easy to transfer something, I need to always be translating.
That's awesome. Thank you. All right. So what are senior leaders responsible for, and how do they invest in the development of individuals and teams? It's different at the senior level than it is for a first-line supervisor. We're thinking about bench strength. We're thinking about succession planning, right? Are these the things? So how do we get better at that?
So building that one team environment, bridging the gap across, and then in that succession planning piece, really making sure that not just for those that are going to succeed us, and making sure that they get the right experience, the right leadership courses, that they're involved in decision making so that they can even understand the why I made decisions, but down the organization, right? We've got to make sure that we have programs and processes that are going to not be dependent on me being in the job or the next person being in the job, that they can sustain with the organization just because of what we put in place for development at all levels.
So as we come to a close here, if there was one key point that you'd like to relay to the listener, especially I think the folks that are considering leadership, what's the one key thing that you'd like to tell them to help them think about themselves and think about what leading is, and maybe make that decision to invest themselves and become that more formal leader?
If I was thinking about one thing to be thinking about, I think it's that you want to do more than self, that you want to influence and make a difference for the organization that's larger than just you or your program or your project, because leadership really is about making a difference and being a part of the greater good. So if that's in the DNA of you out there, if you want to lead people and make the world a better place, then leadership's for you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining this episode of the Fuel Podcast, brought to you by NAVSEA's Propel Leadership Development Program. For more information about Propel, visit the Propel wiki page. Thanks for adding fuel to propel your journey.